It is early in the morning on December 31st, 2021. In fact, it's 6:15 in the morning, and I'm outside the place I've been staying for the last week or so, waiting for an Uber to take me to the center of Nairobi, because I'm going to Masai Mara here in Kenya. If you know just a little bit about Kenya, you probably heard about Masai Mara. It's a place in Kenya that's world famous for its safaris. And I'm going there the next 2.5 days. I'm spending 2 nights out there. From the center of Nairobi, we're going on a 6-hour bus ride out there. And then I'm going to spend 2 nights out there. When we get there, we are going on a game drive. And again, very, very early tomorrow morning. So even though it's New Year's Eve, I'm probably not going to be partying that hard, because the game drive in the mornings are super early. So around 6 o'clock or maybe even 5:30. So before the sun comes up, so we can be there at sunrise. So it's going to be a very, very different New Year's Eve for me this year, 2021. But I am so looking forward to that.
Welcome to a mini-series about Kenya, and specifically Masai Mara. You're going to get 4 episodes, and you'll get them a lot quicker than you normally do. In the first one, I'll speak to Monica Musungu from the travel agency Scenery Adventures, and a travel blogger and globetrotter, Shane Dallas, aka the Travel Camel, who fell in love with Kenya and a woman when he came here 9 years ago and ended up staying here. Both Shane and Monica will give us a lot of tips on what to see here in the country, and at the same time be on my way and arriving to Masai Mara, the most famous and most popular game reserve and safari park in Kenya. My name is Palabo. This is the Radio Vagabond, episode 227. Welcome to Kenya.
Meet Palabo, a full-time traveler and digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. This is the Radio Vagabond Podcast.
Happy New Year.
You too.
From which country?
Denmark.
I'm from the university. We are from Denmark.
Really?
For the state program. Today is the biggest day.
As I'm standing here on the corner in downtown, waiting for the driver to pick me up, I speak to a local who's looking for a donation for polio victims.
Support the polio for the New Year, for the university. Your name and your country, and God bless you. It's a charity you're giving in Africa for the university, and God bless you.
This 2-night, 3-day safari trip is partly made possible by Scenery Adventures Ltd, that's owned and operated by Monica Musungu. I got to know her when we were both in Berlin in March 2020, just as the corona pandemic was beginning to show its ugly face. We were both there for a big travel event called ITB that ended up being cancelled.
My story, I had the ticket to go to ITB Berlin, but it was cancelled days before we traveled. I had my ticket, so I said I have to travel. Let me travel just because I have my ticket with me, no refund.
And I also had booked the hostel, and let me go. Might as well. Why should I be sitting? I think I was in Denmark before. Why should I be behind my computer there when I can do that in Berlin? And that's how we met.
Yeah, that's how we met at the hotel. And we decided, let's do something. If we are not going for ITB Berlin, we had some meetings. And then during that time, I decided I should go to Poland. I get the chance to meet my Poland partner.
You got on, was it a bus or a train to go to Poland?
I got a train to Poland.
But that was just, I'm here, so what's close? Oh, Poland, let me go there. Yeah. But that turned out to be a great thing.
Yes, it turned out to be a great thing, because when I met my partner in Poland, and he was so excited, like I came to see him and say, yeah. So from there, during COVID, he started giving us guests, groups coming during COVID. So I can't complain, because it was worth it for me going to Berlin and then going to Poland.
Yeah, seizing the day. Exactly.
Scenery Adventures is a travel agency in Nairobi doing tours not only throughout Kenya.
Scenery Adventures Ltd, we do inbound and outbound. We take Kenyans out, let's say countries like Egypt, Israel, Turkey, Seychelles, and then also tourists who are coming in Kenya, we take care of them. So basically we do holiday. inbound and outbound. We do the whole region, like Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Congo. So we take guests.
You take guests to Congo?
Yes, we do. For Gorilla, you take them to Congo as well. Like the Polish clients who come, they come to Kenya and then Tanzania. This team that is coming this week is also coming to Kenya and Tanzania. Then there's another group coming next month. They're doing a Uganda gorilla safari. So I'm grateful that I went to Poland.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. Whenever you need a hotel anywhere in the world, go to Hotels25.com. That would get you the best price. Hotels25.com searches a bunch of the biggest hotel sites in one simple search. Hotels25.com.
The Radio Vagabond. Gotta keep moving.
Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
Yeah, I think you're the one who talked to your phone.
Yeah, I have a Kenyan number. I don't remember it.
No.
It ends with 64.
Back on the street, early in the morning, I finally meet my driver for the next few days. His name is Dennis. In this episode, you're also going to meet another friend of mine. His name is Shane Dallas, and I know him from the travel industry and TBEX, a company that does conferences for travel content creators around the world. And Shane is the conference director of TBEX Europe, Asia, and Africa. As I'm the co-host and producer of the official TBEX podcast, Travel Matters, you can say that we're kind of colleagues. Shane has been traveling around the world for years, calling himself and his travel blog The Travel Camel. But when he came to Kenya, he fell in love with the country and Maureen. And now he's been living here for a number of years with her and their daughter. So he knows a lot about this country. But he's originally from Australia.
Yes, I am an Aussie. But you know it's been 9 years since I've been there? It's just over 9 years. I left in December 2012 and I haven't been back yet. So 9 years, it just doesn't seem. There's been so much that has happened in life since then. It's not like it seems a long time. It's just, there's been a lot happening.
Yeah. But you don't miss Australia and the crocs and G'day Mate and all that?
I don't miss all the poisonous snakes, nor the spiders, nor the box jellyfish or the crocodiles. What I do miss is the sport. So at the moment we have the cricket, and it's the Ashes is on as this has been recorded, Australia, England. I miss going to the sporting ground to watch the sporting events, the Australian football, the cricket, the rugby league state of origin. That's what I really miss. And people said, don't you miss your family and friends? I said, yes, well, I can speak to them, but to be in an environment, say, with 50,000 screaming Queenslanders at a rugby league match, there's no comparison to watching it on TV. And I've seen about 20 of those matches, and there is no comparison to being there live. And that's what I miss.
We're not here to talk about cricket, rugby, and other Aussie pastimes. We'll do that when I finally make it there. No, this is all about Kenya. So I asked Shane to say a few words about what Kenya is for somebody like him coming from the outside.
Okay, Kenya is far more complex than it looks from the outside. There's more than 40 tribes, and each one of them is very individual. They have their own food, their own language, own customs. Their interactions with each other make it very, very complex. And even though I've been here a few years, I still don't understand it. And there's no way coming in here for a week or 2 weeks or even a month, it's just no way to understand that.
We get on the bus. That's a normal little minibus. A van with a roof that can be lifted. That will come in handy when we go on the game drives in the park itself. That way we can stand up and get a good view of the wildlife for taking photos. We're a group of 7 or 8, a few from Kenya, and beside me is a guy from San Francisco. Not only are we going on game drives, but I've also decided to spend a little extra by visiting a Maasai village, and then start 2022 by going on a hot air balloon safari over the savannah early in the morning on January 1st. What a way to start the year. But we're still on the way there, and before we make it to Masai Mara, I'll ask both Monica and Shane about what they would recommend for us to see in 2 perfect weeks here in Kenya. You better strap in and maybe get a pen and paper ready, because there's a lot. But first...
facts about where we are.
Kenya has been recognized by the World Travel Awards as the world's leading safari destination for 2021, a position they've held for 7 years now. They have 50 epic national parks and reserves that are home to diverse wildlife, including the Big Five: lions, leopards, elephants, rhinos, and buffalo.
How big and how many people?
At around 580,000 square kilometers, 224,000 square miles, Kenya is the world's 48th largest country by area, slightly smaller than Ukraine and a bit bigger than Spain. And with a population of more than 47 million people, Kenya is the 29th most populous country in the world.
Official languages.
There are no less than 69 different languages spoken here in Kenya, but they only have 2 official languages, English and Swahili. English is widely spoken in commerce, schooling, and government, and you can totally get by here with English. The English level on the street is very good, even though they do have a local dialect that can be a bit hard to catch sometimes for a Western-speaking ear.
The flag.
The flag is a horizontal tricolor with black, red, and green from the top and thinner white lines in between. The black stands for the people of the country, the green stands for the landscape, the white lines for peace, and the red in the middle, war. And then, what's most unique about the flag, a Maasai shield and spears in the middle. That symbolizes defense of all the things mentioned in the colors. All in all, it's a cool flag.
Religion.
Most Kenyans are Christians, 86%, with 54% Protestant and 21% Roman Catholic. Islam is the second largest religion with 11% of the population.
Famous proverb from here.
They have quite a few sayings here, but here are a few of my favorites. Because a man has injured your goat, do not go out and kill his bull. Do not slaughter a calf before its mother's eyes. A hyena cannot smell its own stench. And the last one is a twist of one that I've heard many times where I come from, that a captain should go down with his ship. But the Kenyans have a saying that goes like this: a sinking ship does not need a captain.
And that was Facts About Where We Are. Vagabond.
My name's Bond.
Radio Vagabond, the ultimate destination for armchair travelers who are looking for inspiration to get out into the real world and let loose their wanderlust. This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
So let's dive into what's worth seeing here in Kenya in 2 perfect weeks, with a little help from tour operator Monica and my Aussie friend Shane, the travel camel who's been around the world and ended up staying here in Kenya.
On the agenda, there is Turkana. You'll experience the cultural about Turkana.
The first thing Monica mentions is Turkana. It's Kenya's largest county by land area in the northwestern part of the country. It's bordered by countries of Uganda to the west, South Sudan to the north, and a tiny 27-kilometer border to Ethiopia, just north of the amazingly beautiful big Lake Turkana. I've been told that a trip to Turkana County needs guts and a passion for lengthy road trips. It also needs an adventurous heart and gallons of water to live through the harsh, dry climate. Overall, Turkana is an idyllic location and, according to Monica, well worth a visit.
And then there is also Samburu. Samburu, we have the elephants. We have the game. It's a game reserve.
Mm-hmm. Shane also mentioned Samburu when I spoke to him a few days earlier.
I would recommend Samburu National Reserve up north. I think Mount Kenya is great, and I'm not talking about Mount Kenya to hike. Mount Kenya, they've got some, there's a lot of wildlife in Mount Kenya. Old Pacheta, where the rhinos are, Mount Kenya, and then up north, go up to Samburu.
The Samburu National Reserve is a game reserve famous for an abundance of species of animals, such as zebra, ostrich, giraffe, and many more. The reserve is also home to a population of close to 900 elephants. The park is 165 square kilometers in size and situated 350 kilometers from Nairobi, just on the other side of the majestic Mount Kenya. With peaks of 5,199 meters or 17,055 feet, it's the second highest in Africa after Kilimanjaro. And speaking of Kilimanjaro, in Tanzania, just south of the border, you will find the Amboseli National Park, another one of Kenya's most popular parks.
We can also have Amboseli.
Amboseli, people know, elephants grazing in front of Kilimanjaro.
Amboseli, we have the elephants, the big elephants.
The second place I would recommend is Tsavo. It's next to Amboseli, but go to Tsavo, it's very dense. And it's a naturally beautiful, like Samburu, a very naturally beautiful area. I would strongly recommend Tsavo West. Wonderful. I saw a baby giraffe there, only a couple of weeks old, walking with its mother. Just terrific stuff. And that was only 20 metres from me.
Tsavo West National Park is located in the southeastern part of Kenya, and it covers an area of 9,065 square kilometers. Its sister park, Tsavo East National Park, a little bit north, is one of the oldest and largest parks in Kenya at almost 14,000 square kilometers. Both parks are between Nairobi and the east coast of Kenya. And there are a few places worth visiting on the east coast.
We have the beach side.
Or as Monica calls it, the big side.
We have Mombasa, Diani. You have Diani and you have Mombasa as well. And then we have Malindi. We have Watamu.
First of all, Mombasa, that's also known as the white and blue city in Kenya. It's the country's oldest, and with a population of 1.2 million, it's the second largest city after the capital, Nairobi. And then she mentioned Diani Beach, just south of Mombasa, and two beautiful beach towns, Malinda and Watumu, further north. Shane agrees that the east coast is wonderful, but he mentioned a small island even more north, just off the coast called Lamu.
A lot of people talk about the coast, but I would go to Lamu. It's a UNESCO World Heritage listed site. There were supposedly only two vehicles on the island. One was the police and the other one was the ambulance, I think. That was it. So the most form of transport is walking, donkeys, or in boats. And it's a UNESCO site because it's very tight alleys, typical Swahili architecture. It is a fantastic place. Old Lamu town is really amazing. It gives you a real sense of stepping back in time in some ways. Terrific place. And a lot of people go to Mombasa, go to the coast. But Lamu, if you want that culture side or an insight into something that is still very strongly preserved, that's why it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and not overly commercialised, I would recommend Lamu as well.
Are you still with me? As you can probably sense, there's a lot to see in Kenya.
This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
But wait, there's more. Here's Monica again with a handful of recommendations, so hang in there for just 1 minute and 15 seconds more.
And then on the other side of Western, we have Kisumu. Kisumu, you experience the lake region, how Luos lived, and also there is some traditional in Kisumu. And then you visit Obama's place as well. There is also Western.
Obama's place?
Yes. There's
He was born here in Kenya?
No, he was the family is in Kenya. The dad is a Kenyan. Mm-hmm. So you have to experience Obama's place. You have to visit there as well. Cool. And the Western region, we have the Crying Stones. Mm-hmm. We have Kakamega Forest. And we have the Teso cultures. Naivasha is good for getaways. You have to experience Lake Naivasha. You have to experience Crescent Island, Hell's Gate. And then also we have Nanyuki. Nanyuki is also good for getaways as well. So you see, there's a lot to see in Kenya.
Yeah, I don't even know how to begin to cram that into 2 weeks.
I said you could write all this down, but I know that you didn't. See, I know you. So I put most of it in the notes for this episode and on the radiovagabond.com. You can also reach out to Monica and the team at Scenery Adventures. I've also put a link to how you find them in the notes section. But hang on, you say, you didn't even mention the main attraction where you're going to right now? So true. We'll get to that in a minute. Stay with us.
You can see pictures, videos, and links and read much more on theradiovagabond.com. You can also send a few lines to Palabo and get featured on the show. Tell him where you are and what you're doing right now as you're listening to these words. Just click on Contact on theradiovagabond.com and fill out the form.
One more thing before we go back to Masai Mara.
Question from listeners.
I'm starting a new segment here on the show where I'm going to be answering any questions you might have about my life as a full-time traveler and digital nomad. So if you have any questions, please go to theradiovagabond.com and send a voice message. Just go to Contact and click on the banner where it says Talk to Me. Kenya lies on the equator and has a pleasant tropical climate. The daytime temperatures average between 20 and 28 Celsius, 68 and 82 Fahrenheit, but it's a bit warmer by the coast. Kenya is too close to the equator to experience a real summer and winter, but there is both a dry and a wet season. The hottest months are December to March, and July to September are perfect for a nice sun holiday.
It's 2 o'clock. We came to the gates at around half an hour ago, and then we've been driving inside just on the bumpy roads to get to where we're staying tonight. I don't know if it's only tonight or if it's also tomorrow. In fact, I don't know much about this place, and we haven't been given any information yet, but I'm sure that we will soon. What we have been told is that now it's 2 o'clock, and we're going to have lunch. And then at 4 o'clock we will go out in the car again and go on a sunset game drive. That's obviously what we're here for. But as soon as we enter, the skies open. Can you hear the thunder? Yeah, it's raining quite heavily right now. So hopefully it will just clear up and be a nice sunset. Yeah, empty those clouds now while we're having lunch.
Travel is possible at any age. Your sense of adventure is just over the horizon. So, reach out and grab it. This is the Radio Vagabond.
And then you left maybe arguably the best things out, the Masai Mara.
Yes, Masai Mara is the best.
Yeah.
Because you have to experience the big five, the Masai traditional, the way you went and experienced the balloon. As in, for you, how many days can you take to Masai Mara? Let me just ask because you've been there.
Yeah, well, I was there. We spent two nights there, and I could probably have spent a few more, but 2 days, 3 days, and 2 nights I would say that's perfect.
Oh yeah, sure. So Masai Mara is anyone who comes to Kenya. It's advisable to go to Masai Mara because we do have daily joining safaris to Masai Mara. So even if you call me, like let's say 12 hours before you want to go, I can fix that. So we do have daily departures to Masai Mara as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you work with other companies. So people that are in my bus, they aren't necessarily booked through your company.
What we do is we have different companies that we partner with. So like you cannot get every day people going to Masai Mara. So like Scenery has 2-3 guests, the other company has 3 guests, the other have 2 guests. So we put them in one van and then they go for safari. So that's why we do every day safari.
When it rains, does it rain for a long time or no? So it's good that it's raining when we're eating. So yeah.
The Masai Mara is one of the greatest spectacles in the world. It's unbelievable. I went a long time ago, and the sheer volume of animals, I saw more animals in my first hour in the Mara than I had in 5 previous days of game drives. It was incredible. I met another guy who said he had been to Southern Africa 6 times and he saw more animals on one day than 6 previous visits to Southern Africa. It's 2 million animals come across during the Great Migration. That starts sometimes in July, finishes sometimes in October, maybe November. It's peak time, and a word of advice, they have the Mara, which is now run by the Masai. It can be a bit of a traffic jam during peak season. You have conservancies to the north. And these conservancies, and I'm thinking of Mara North here, these require a separate admission fee. And therefore, people don't go there unless they're staying in one of the only 9 lodges there, for example, or 10 lodges. So when I saw cheetahs in the main Mara Reserve, 3 cheetahs sleeping, there were dozens of vehicles around them. We went into a conservancy north of the Mara. There was a lion feeding on a wildebeest, and there was 2 vehicles. And that gives you an idea of the difference in experience. And I noticed also that there seemed to be more animals in the conservancies because, a lot of animals, zebras particularly, they don't like vehicles. So they'll move away from where they think the traffic is. And in these conservancies, which have hardly any people, that's where they'll go. My recommendation, if you can, stay in a conservancy and maybe take a day trip into the Mara proper, but you'll get a lot more value for money staying in these conservancies because there's less people, it's less crowded, there seems to be more animals per vehicle, in fact there doesn't seem there are, than compared to the main thing. But the Mara, to see that in person, it is like driving into a National Geographic documentary. It's unbelievable.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I am Eli.
Hi, Ellie.
What is your name?
Pala.
Pala.
Jarash.
Jarash. Nice to meet you all. Karibu.
So we finally arrived to Masai Mara and Lenchada tourist camp. That's going to be our home for the next 2 nights.
At around 4, you can come and have tea, coffee before joining your driver for evening safari. Yeah.
We're just going to have a quick lunch, get settled in, and then a coffee before we head off to our evening safari. Our first game drive to see if we can spot some of the animals that Monica and Shane were talking about.
Well, the guy said there's no sharing, so this is surprising to me.
Maybe we should have told them. Maybe they thought that we knew each other.
Oh, really?
What was his name?
Harry or...
Sorry? You do know that we don't know each other.
Oh.
And we were told that it wasn't sharing. I'm fine with it, but it was just if you thought that we knew each other. We met on the bus.
Okay. So, let me talk to her.
Yeah, sure.
See what she can do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we've had our lunch and we've checked into the tent. We're staying in tents. It's a place called lenchadatouristcamp.com, and we are in tents, but it's not. Yeah, it's. I wouldn't say glamping because there's no electricity. I'll get back to that, but there is a bed in there. And on the bus, I sat next to a guy from San Francisco who's also traveling alone. And I don't know, I think they kind of thought that we knew each other, so we were put in the same tent. And I'm fine with that. It's no problem. There are 2 beds, so it's totally fine. But he said, when I bought the ticket, they said that it would be private tents. But it is what it is, and he's only staying 1 night. So tomorrow night I got the tent for myself, but it's more like I don't honestly I don't care, so it's fine. But with the electricity, there's no electricity in the tent, so the charging of phones is gonna happen when they start a generator at around dinner time. I think that's what they told us. So I guess all the people here are going to be charging their phones to make sure that they have enough power for taking photos and filming tomorrow. In 45 minutes, we're going to do the first game drive out in the wilderness.
As Shane mentioned, the best time to visit is during the Great Migration that starts sometime in July and finishes sometime in October. And I'm here on December 31st. So I was wondering if there would be anything to see.
Oh, there's always something to see. I've been there also another time. We saw giraffes, saw zebras, went on a horseback ride and went into a a herd of zebras, and the horse started communicating with the zebras. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So there are things you can do there, but just be aware that Mara has huge plains and there are very strict limits that you can't drive off-road. And because of that, the animals can be quite far away. But my advice with going in the Mara, number one, any game drive you do in Africa, do not do what a lot of people do. They get up, they have breakfast, then they go out. No. The best time for viewing is sunrise and pre-sunrise. It doesn't change. We're on the equator, so it's almost 6 o'clock, 6:30 every morning of the year. Sunset, 6:30 every evening. Get up at 5:30, go out first, do your viewing, 8 o'clock, come back and have a big breakfast. You'll see far more animals that way if you do the usual thing. I'll get up, have breakfast, go out. So my recommendation, be prepared to go out early, be prepared to stay out late. If you stay in a conservancy, you can do night drives. In the government-run parks and reserves, they're a lot more stricter. Other countries are different, they will allow it. But it is truly an astonishing spectacle. It's overwhelming in some ways, remarkable.
This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels around the world.
Hotels25.com.
You can see pictures, videos, and links and read much more on the radiovagabond.com.
That's all we have time for in this episode, but there's more from Masai Mara.
Coming up on the Radio Vagabond.
It was crazy, but at the same time, it was good because I looked at it and I was laughing. Wow, I've never seen a rhino as in charging, but I saw in your video.
He was not happy with us being that close. And I thought, he's coming after us. And he was just charging us.
In the next one, I'm going on a game drive and get attacked by an angry rhino. And then we're also going to the giraffe center.
A personality for Eddie is a gentle giant. It's a big giraffe, but very gentle. Daisy, she doesn't like small kids at all.
Oh, really?
You don't want to miss that one, and it'll be in your podcast feed already in a few days. My name is Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.
Radio Vagabond. Produced by RadioGuru.co.uk.
And a sinking ship does not need a captain.